Thank you very much, Program Director. Our gracious host, Your Excellencies, Ambassador of the Republic of Chad and Chairperson of the Permanent Representative Council, distinguished ambassadors and members of the PRC, commissioners here present, representatives of the AU organs, regional economic communities, NEPAD agency, APRN, AU representatives and liaison offices specialized in technical agencies, representatives of the UN Economic Commission, members of the ADB and Africa Capacity Building Foundation, officials from our capitals, AU Commission staff, representatives of civil society if they are here, and representatives of the diplomatic corps. A very warm welcome to the 32nd Ordinary Session of the PRC. And we are very pleased to be in this vibrant and growing city of Kigali. It is always a pleasure to visit our capital cities, to witness the changes and to see how progress is being made in transforming the lives of African people. We'd like to thank the President, the government, and the people of Rwanda for their legendary hospitality and impeccable organization. It is also very important that we are having this meeting in Rwanda, a country which is doing everything to make sure that women are treated as equal citizens. It's a country where men and women work side by side to ensure the progress of this country and the continent. Excellencies, the summit is an important milestone in our union as it considers the end of the term of this commission and the election of new leadership. This is perhaps an opportunity to reflect on the route we traveled together during this 4-year period and how, playing our respective roles, we take forward the mission of the African Union to build an integrated, peaceful and prosperous Africa, driven by its own people and playing a dynamic role in the world. Though we have different yet complementary roles, the mission is what defines how the PRC and the AU Commission carry out their work over the past 4 years and going forward. It is a mission that is informed by the core Pan-African values that define our union: unity, cooperation, solidarity, self-reliance, and being and thinking and acting Pan-African. The issue of unity and cooperation remains critical for all our programs and initiatives of Agenda 2063. It would be difficult for us to move forward on the transport corridors that connect our countries, on the regional energy pools that must power industries and homes, on free movement of people, on harmonization of education or regional value chains and beneficiation and manufacturing, without cooperation amongst countries and with the regional economic communities. One of the reasons for slow movement on some of the issues, like the single aviation market, was our focus on national interest to the detriment of the continental interest. As a result, the continent has lost over 40% of the market share, aviation market share, and member states have open sky agreements with many more non-African countries than they do with African countries. So the permanent representatives of member states in Addis Ababa are in a unique position We are in a unique position based, as you are, in the capital of Africa, and where the Commission is headquartered, to advocate for that balance between the national interest and the continental common good. The unity and cooperation also relates to the development agenda of the continent. Part of the reason for the African Union and REC's preeminent in matters of peace and security in Africa has been the fact that they have a vibrant Peace and Security Council that meets regularly and do follow up, but we do not have a similar vibrant engagement on the development and economic priorities of the continent. Excellencies, this links very closely to the need for solidarity amongst Africans. We know that in areas such as peace and security and election monitoring, our countries have practiced the customary African solidarity by contributing human rights and election observers, by contributing troops and other personnel to peace operations. And of course, we also witnessed recently that over 20 countries also responded to the AU call for health workers to make the ASOA mission a success in the fight against Ebola. At the same time, the Commission had to work very hard to convince member states not to further isolate the affected countries when some of them stopped their national airlines from flying to these countries and stopped nationals from these countries from entering their countries. Excellencies, the agenda of Agenda 2063 program and priorities also require a great amount of solidarity to support each other's initiatives and not counterproductive competition amongst each other. And yet the tendency of giving better market access, terms of trade, investment conditions to foreign companies, countries and non-African regions than we do amongst ourselves persists. Closely linked to our principles of unity and cooperation and solidarity is that of self-reliance and independence. This is a matter that we've been seized with both at the PRC, executive, and even heads of state level. And I know that sometimes some members of the PRC don't see eye to eye with the Commission on this matter, but I hope that we are past that now, that we can really work together to ensure that this principle of self-reliance and independence is realized. Excellencies, based as you are at the headquarters of the AU, we are most closely aware of the impact of the over-reliance on outside funding have on the Commission and on our organs, and on our ability to focus on continental priorities. The reality remains that he who pays the piper calls the tune. The Commission, of course, can and has tried and must do better to ensure that it streamlines its activities, to focus on priorities, to cut down on wastage and wasteful expenditure, to be more prudent with and so that it focuses on the activities that have a real impact for member states and our citizens. The decision of our heads of state and government to move towards greater self-reliance and funding for AU operation programs and peace operations must be our guiding mantra. We must continue to work together to see our operationalization, implementation, and monitoring of this decision. We rely on PRC members to work with us to continue to convince their capitals on their commitments to this decision. Excellencies, the last value that I want to talk about requires that we all in the Commission and PRC be pan-African in our outlook and actions. Internal domestication of Agenda 2063 has commenced in at least 34 countries to date, as well as some RECs. We should, by January 2017, present the monitoring and evaluation framework to the Executive Council for adoption, with joint indicators for our first 10-year implementation plan, as well as for global sustainable development goals. This process of internal domestication of Agenda 2063 should help us to see in real terms the link between our national interest and the Pan-African agenda and progress. Progress in one or more countries, and indeed progress in as many countries as possible, will provide a tipping point which should help even those who lag behind. The larger and growing economies in different regions have to also play their role as locomotives for growth, skills development, research and development. If they themselves lag behind or slow down continental growth, it will have an impact not only in their national context, but in their sub-regions and the continent. The progress on the continental free trade area is one such area where, unless we take a Pan-African stance, we will perish as individual countries and as a continent. The world is moving towards mega trading blocs, but all those mega trading blocs exclude Africa. And of course, the Doha development round of negotiations have failed to even start. Unless we unite to form our own common market, the little bit of preferential trade we have at the moment will be further eroded. Excellencies, we have more to win than to lose from implementing our African vision. If more countries sign up on the Arusha Declaration on harmonization of universities, like East Africa has done, provide more opportunities for African young people to do degrees of their choices and to practice their professions in any part of the continent. If we continue to build momentum on continental free trade and free movement of people, it will create better conditions for our traders, farmers, businesses, entrepreneurs, and innovators to invest and trade with each other and to build Pan-African companies and brands. If we all build on progress to empower women and girls, we can all move a step closer towards healthier families, cohesive communities, and more peaceful and democratic societies. Excellencies, the relationship between the Commission and the PRC has been characterized by cooperation. Though stormy at times, the PRC has kept the Commission on its toes as it should. This working relationship requires ongoing attention and strengthening, as guided by our statutes, decisions, and our higher organs. The PRC must remain active in strengthening and engaging other organs, the Pan-African Parliament, the Commission and Court on Human and People's Rights, ECOSOC, and the APRM, NEPAD. These are critical institutions of our continent in the context of strengthening governance, democracy, and human rights, and they need our support. The PRC must continue to play an important role in preserving the institutional memory of our union through the institution of regional deans. It should therefore help to guide the incoming Commission on all the decisions that have been taken by the AU, including Agenda 2063. We'd like to thank the PRC for their support on critical matters and for the robust engagement we've had during this period. We must continue to see these robust engagements in the context of our common Pan-African mission to build an Africa and an African Union of the people, and a continent that is integrated, peaceful, and prosperous, and plays a dynamic role in the world. I will not say a lot more now because I'm sure we'll have another engagement in Addis during the handover So I will want to just stop here and say thank you very much and wish you a very successful session of the PRC and fruitful deliberations. Thank you.